What do you say when someone asks you, how are you? Do you take the easy way out and reply fine or even good? You probably don't expect that they want you to say anything else anyway. I might have confused you during the welcome this morning when I started to tell you about what I was going to be speaking about. So I'll try and make it clearer now than I did then. I was trying to say that it's okay to be not okay about lots of things that are happening at the moment. Did you get that? Okay. Okay. I was trying to say that it's okay to be not okay about lots of things that are happening at the moment. It's okay to say that things are not fine. It's okay to say that things are not good. Let me explain a little further. It's not okay that we're experiencing an acute crisis. It's not okay that death sneaks into houses and shops all over the world. It's not okay that you can feel healthy but still carry the virus without even knowing it. It's not okay that every stranger in the street is potentially a threat. It's not okay that we go around in masks. It's not okay that churches are shut. It's not okay that people are dying. There is nobody to pray by their bedside. So actually, when we are asked, how are things? And we say fine, or okay, or even good, it might even be considered an inappropriate response with all that is going on. Now, that doesn't mean to say that we're not coping. That doesn't mean to say that we're not being resilient. Many of us are pressing on and making the best out of it that we can. But these are not good times. We're encouraged to thank God in all circumstances, not for all circumstances. You get that? We are encouraged to thank God in all circumstances, not for all circumstances. So where am I taking you this morning? I want to ask, what is an appropriate response from us as Christians to this pandemic? If I were to ask you, faith or fear, you're going to say, faith, of course. But the problem for us as Christians at times is that we don't know the difference between faith and fear. And sometimes we think we're responding with faith and it's actually fear masquerading as faith. What we call faith is actually fear dressed up as faith. Let me try and explain to you. Whenever something like this happens, some Christians respond by saying something like, oh, thank you, Lord, for giving us this opportunity to acknowledge that we need Jesus more than our comfortable lifestyles. Thank you for opening the door of opportunity to tell our neighbours the good news. Now, when you really think about what's been said there for a moment, think about it. It's almost as if we're saying this plague has been sent to kill millions of people as a wake-up call to Christians around the world to tell people the good news about Jesus. Come on, we don't need a wake-up call to tell the world about Jesus. The command of Jesus to go and make disciples is enough in itself. One man has already been sacrificed on our behalf. We don't need millions more. The Christians who make such claims would no doubt claim that the response is one of faith. There are Christians who look for signs all over the place and they call it faith, but didn't Jesus say something about that, the generation that wants a sign being corrupt and wicked? And then there are Christians who take it as another opportunity to declare that this is a sign of the end. Now the end time ministry, the end time industry has been massive. In America over the last couple of generations, the coronavirus is a sign that everything is going to horribly end. Again, it's another example of Christians declaring faith when they are actually peddling fear. God so loved the world into a relationship with him. It was not that God so terrified the world into a relationship with him. Let's not forget that. So what is a faith response to a crisis? Romans 12 verse 15 says, celebrate with those who are celebrating. Mourn with the mourners. Now you may be more familiar with the NIV where it says, rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. The world is weeping right now. The church should humbly take its place among the mourners. Grief is a part of love. We grieve when we have lost someone that we love. If we don't grieve for them, it might be questioned if we have ever loved them. So don't be afraid of grief. Don't be afraid to grieve thinking that you lack faith. If you're full of faith, you'll be able to grieve. We might not have the right idea of what it means to be strong. We might pride ourselves in keeping the upper lip. After all, big boys don't cry. We might say of someone that they were being strong because, well, they held it together and they didn't cry. You mean strong like Jesus, who wept at the tomb of his friend? You mean strong like the Spirit who raised Jesus from the dead and will give life to our mortal bodies? But wait, the same Spirit who right now is pleading for us with groanings too deep for words? You mean strong like Jesus who said, my soul is disturbed within me right to the point of death? When Jesus was quite clearly suffering in the Garden of Gethsemane, the disciples couldn't quite manage to stick with him in his hour of need. They couldn't watch and pray. And maybe that's something that we struggle with too. Maybe we are afraid of the darkness. So instead of facing up to it, we deny it, thinking that we are full of faith when in fact we're afraid of the dark. So what is an appropriate response from us as Christians to this pandemic? I think we should listen to the voices within the church who say that our response should be one of lament. Lament is a response of faith, not fear. Now, lament has already been described to us this morning in the service, and I'm not going to go over that again. But what I want to do over the next few moments is just elaborate a little bit more on what it means. But before we do that, let's listen to the song, Give Me Faith.